just want to, are we ready to start? Okay, good morning, everyone. I am Delegate Melissa Wells. Welcome to the Labor and Elections Committee. Today is Wednesday, January 21st, and we are joined today by the Maryland Ireland Trade Commission. Just a few housekeeping I want to share for our delegates on the committee that this morning around 8 a.m. you should find in your inbox an email from Caitlin Clem that includes the agenda as well as the presentation from the commission, and also to flag that for this evening's or this afternoon's bill hearings, you should see it as well around 8 a.m. So with that, we will begin our briefing. Welcome.
Thank you. Start. All right.
Go ahead, please.
All right. Well, first, I just want to thank everyone for allowing us this opportunity to brief you on the Maryland Ireland Trade Commission. My name is Erin McNeely. I am the vice chair of the commission. I'm here with Deputy Secretary of State Michael Lohr, and Brian Castleberry from the Department of Commerce will also be joining us in a few minutes here. Delegate Ken Kerr is also our chair of the commission. So today, we're just going to talk a little bit about the history, how it was formed, what the purpose is of the commission, our work that we did in 2025, our findings, and then where we're headed in 26 with our recommendations. So in May of 2024, Governor Wes Moore approved a House bill creating the Maryland Ireland Trade Commission, and really it was done to study and promote trade relations between our great state of Maryland and the country of Ireland. More specifically, what we have been focused on since the inception is advancing bilateral trade and investment, and I think it's important just to kind of hit these couple highlights here for a minute. Initiating joint action on policy issues of mutual interest. We have been promoting business and academic exchanges, encouraging mutual economic support, as well as investment in infrastructure, and we'll go into some more details and specifics on that. So just a little bit about how we, formed the commission. Once the bill was approved, it took several months to fill the seats. We have 10 members currently, all from the public sector, business, and academia. And after our first meeting, we found it was important to set some structure. So with the leadership of Delegate Kerr, we drafted and subsequently approved bylaws as guidance on how we were going to start our work in 2025. And really, it was working up towards our first big deliverable of providing the governor a report in December of last year. And that's where all of our work has done. So in those bylaws, we created subcommittees or work groups, and we divided them out by industries or sectors, and we really tried to align it with a lot of the lighthouse sectors that the governor has set forth. And so each subcommittee was headed by a commissioner, and then that commissioner led the charge doing a deep dive into the industry. We looked at the general landscape. We looked at opportunities, partnerships, and of course recommendations. And then we came together right before December, compiled all the data into the full report that is going to be with the governor here any day. We're waiting on one final signature. So those subcommittees included agriculture, tourism, cultural arts, cybersecurity, information, artificial intelligence and quantum. We had a life sciences and pharmaceuticals, and then a higher ed. So any questions before I sort of dive into the findings? Yes, Michael.
Oh, no, I don't have a question, but usually they do questions after if you like.
Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about our key findings so far with our work in 2025, and then we can maybe talk about, some of the recommendations together as we head into 26. So first, diving into those sectors, we found that there were a lot of similar strengths in life sciences, technology, defense, cybersecurity. So we really wanted to capitalize on these synergies. Pull this up here. We really leveraged our relationship with Enterprise Ireland, which is the government entity that supports Irish-based businesses and scaling international. So right now, they support $40 billion in export dollars with Irish-based companies worldwide. So obviously, that's a very important relationship for us to lean in on as we head into 2026. Of course, we looked at, there was a lot of similar technological challenges and also opportunities for both markets. So we'll get into a little bit more of the details, but with AWS and Fastnet, and AWS building the transatlantic subsea fiber optic cable from the eastern shore of Maryland to County Cork, which I just thought was incredible that our state was chosen for the initial location of this, state-of-the-art technology, not New Jersey, not Delaware, not Virginia, but the eastern shore of Maryland. So we really feel like we can dig into this opportunity here.
Yeah, sorry,
Okay.
could you just, this is, a lot of folks are new to the committee.
Yes.
So could you just try to not use as many acronyms if possible? So
Yes.
AWS, if you could let us know what that means. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Amazon Web Services. So yeah, so Amazon, this started, years ago when they were trying to figure out how we could get better data between the United States and the EU. And so, the eastern shore of Maryland was selected and it was connected to County Cork in Ireland. It was years of research, development, due diligence, obviously, construction of building this infrastructure. But now that it's there, it's going to be up and running, I believe, in the next several years. Really leveraging that to, capitalize on, tech jobs and how we can, export more there, and then obviously bring some of the Irish-based companies here to Maryland to help set up the infrastructure. And then just two more findings, and then I'm going to, sort of turn it over to Brian and Michael too, where they can talk about some of our recommendations and the great work that they've been doing. I want to talk about just the Port of Baltimore. It really is the entry point for the EU coming into the greater market of the United States. So, really, again, just trying to leverage the opportunities that Port has as we look to, expand our trade relations with Ireland. And then just the English-speaking country, right? It's really, Ireland is sort of that springboard into the EU. And the fact that, we're both English-speaking countries, when we have Maryland-based companies getting set up to do business there, they have a great workforce, very highly educated, that we can leverage to support our companies, and then vice versa. Just our workforce here and what we've been doing with the Maryland Tech Council and their education efforts, and leveraging that to support the Irish-based companies as they're coming up to get set up here. So from a high level, that's really what our findings were after we did the deep dive into the subcommittees. And now we have several recommendations as we head into 2026 and continuing our work as a committee. So I'm going to let Brian and Michael talk a little bit. Brian, if you want to talk, you're really sort of heading up the relationship with Guinness Enterprise Center and Platform 94.
Thanks, Aaron. I apologize for being late. My name's Brian Castleberry. I'm the Senior Regional Manager for the Middle East, UK, and Africa for the Maryland Department of Commerce. Maryland Department of Commerce has been forging relationships with Ireland for forever. And what this legislation really does is sort of tightens that relationship. We picked Ireland because it's very simpatico with Maryland and our sweet spot industries, the governor's lighthouse sectors. We've already attracted 2 Irish companies to one of our incubators through the Global Gateway Program. So we see this legislation as just sort of helping the Maryland Department and our mission to accomplish bilateral trade with Ireland. So that's pretty much, the commerce's point of view of the legislation.
So as we go into 2026, do you want to talk about the relationship with Platform 94?
Yeah, so in 2025, in Western Ireland, there's an accelerator called Platform 94. They are the biggest accelerator incubator in Western Ireland. Very smart, highly technical companies. Ireland is built to scale, so there's not a big market there, so the government subsidizes them to scale. They were scaling a lot to Europe, but now more and more they are scaling to the U.S. We want Maryland to be their point of entry. There are a lot of states there, a lot of competition. Michigan is there all the time, Florida, New York. Maryland needs to, become competitive, and, this legislation will help that. It's just sort of a kind of big piece to the puzzle of us trying to attract more Irish companies in Governor Moore's sweet spot industries, cyber, healthcare, AI. The two companies we've attracted are in biotech and AI. We attracted them to Frederick, FITCI. They are using the Global Gateway Program to sort of get settled and then grow. So there's really a lot of pieces already. We're just, this legislation will help kind of put all those together. In the future, we just want to kind of continue the relationship, continue it to flourish and grow. And again, the reason why Ireland is because their industries, almost perfectly lined up with ours. So, and as Aaron stated earlier, it's not just bringing Irish companies here. Our Global Gateway Program will allow Maryland companies to go to Ireland to Platform 94 and scale. So if a Maryland company goes to Platform 94, they will help them scale into Europe. So it's a real good launching pad, Ireland is, for Maryland companies looking to trade in the EU.
Thank you. And my name is Michael Laurie. I'm the Deputy Secretary of State. It's great to be here. I feel like we're making history. It's great to see so many familiar faces, and this now my favorite committee. You have a great portfolio, great members, great chair and vice chair, and it's great to see everyone. I'm not kissing up. We don't have a bill to pitch. Thank you for having this commission in place. I know there will be a bill to extend the sunset, and that was part of one of our recommendations. We'll testify at that juncture, but right now we just want to share the document, which you should have access to now. There's a lot happening. I don't think we can take credit for all the great things that have happened since the bill passed, but there have been a lot of great milestones. We're now literally connected, or we will be, with Ireland directly with this cable, with Amazon, and that's a signal that they think it's a good investment. There'll be a lot of data that will be coming back and forth. But there's a lot of historical context as well. There are opportunities we're learning. This is the Labor Committee as well from Platform 94 about their deindustrialization and focusing on the type of training to lean into the technology, the infrastructure. They have a highly educated population, just like in Maryland. The Republic of Ireland actually has a smaller population than the state of Maryland. You have the Emerald Island and the Free State. It's a great combination, but this actually also includes Northern Ireland, so Belfast, and there are a lot of historic connections as well with Northern Ireland. And this allows us to engage with both of those countries, and now that Brexit has happened, I think it's an important juncture to really lean in to both of those governments and make sure that Maryland has these relationships to learn. The laboratories of democracy extend beyond the borders of the United States. We learn from the different economic successes, and there are a lot of innovative processes that Ireland has put together. And I would be remiss if I didn't highlight our historic connection with Frederick Douglass, for instance. That's why we have a sister state with Cork County, because Frederick Douglass actually escaped. The slave hunters, the kidnappers, were looking for him after he sold his autobiography, and he actually went, and under the tutelage of O'Connell, he found his voice in many ways, and he not only was a best-selling author, he also then became an orator, and really the best orator of his day. And it was in Ireland where he was given that audience and the respect, and he really became the Frederick Douglass we know of now. He spoke in front of crowds of thousands and thousands of people, and they actually have statues of him in Cork, Ireland, and around Ireland. He's actually the second most famous formerly enslaved person after St. Patrick himself. Wow. And so I think it's interesting to know that he is recognized in Ireland as that figure, as he is in Maryland, with that significance. And it's something we should be proud of, and I hope that history also conveys. And of course, we have Carroll family of Carrollton, Charles Carroll of Carrollton, the only Catholic signer of the Declaration of Independence, and even George Calvert, Lord Baltimore, had a property. He was actually named Baron of Baltimore, which means the big house on the hill, and so he lived in Ireland, and I think a lot of the religious tolerance values that Maryland was enshrined with came from him and his time actually in Ireland. So he became Catholic, lost his seat in Parliament, but then became a noble. He was actually the Secretary of State to King James, interesting history, and then he was granted Maryland by King Charles, actually his son, the second Lord Baltimore, who is the namesake of Baltimore City and Baltimore County. So there's a lot more
cultural and business ties between the two.
Yeah, so it's something we can lean into. We're not going to have these commissions, and we're not going to propose them. Obviously, this is a commerce-led initiative, but I think it's important to know about those cultural ties. We've got groups coming in actually for St. Patrick's Day, even someone from the Carroll family. So we're anxious if anyone wants to get plugged in with those efforts. We think those cultural ties are important. But of course, this is a commerce-led effort, and there are a lot of great deliverables that
we had Secretary Coker in Ireland, in Dublin and Galway in June. That's where his mission led to the two companies coming here. So again, we want to do more of these missions and really foster this relationship as best we can. Because I said before, other states are there. It's a huge opportunity for Maryland to attract some of the best and brightest companies in cyber and health and AI who are looking to set up a beachhead in the U.S. from Ireland.
And I think the last thing I want to note, too, is just that we are competing with other states. So there's 13 states that have formed state-based Ireland trade commissions. So we think it's, very important to continue the work that we're doing. It was important to the governor originally. That's why he signed the bill. And I think, heading into 2026, we have a lot of great work and deliverables to still tackle just based on our initial findings and the research we did through 25.
One last note, since this is also the Labor Committee, we owe a lot to the Irish labor force. They came over here, they helped to build the C&O Canal and the B&O Canal, and they'll actually celebrate the 200th anniversary next year in 2027. But for the 250 Commission, there are also a lot of events that are tying in our historic ties with the Irish community here, the diaspora, but also our relationship with Ireland. So we're going to have events, including on St. Patrick's Day with the Tipperary County and others. So there's some other relationships we have, but Ireland's one of 3 countries that we've identified to have these partnerships related to the 250 Commission. So.
Okay, thank you so much. I thought I saw a question from Delegate Siliberti. Delegate Siliberti has a question.
Madam Chair, just a minor point of information. What is the population of Ireland?
Well, I think it's, 4.8 million for the Republic of Ireland, and then the Northern Ireland is another.
What was that again?
3.5, I think.
So roughly similar to Maryland.
Yeah, the Republic of Ireland actually is less people than Maryland, but if you include Northern Ireland, it's more than Maryland.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Delegate Sample Hughes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning. Thank you so much for this presentation. It's very informative. I'm sitting here taking notes. I did not know about Frederick Douglass statue in Ireland, but thank you for sharing that.
We've got some good books we can recommend you to read on that.
Please do, actually.
Amazing reads, yeah.
Yes, indeed. So as you know, I'm from the Eastern Shore, so I just need a visual. Is your office located in Talbot County, or where are you located? Because I know you said the roots and you're starting from the Eastern Shore and you're happy it's the Eastern Shore company, but I just need to, I'm more of a visual learner, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just speaking to AWS and their project FastNet in general. So we can absolutely get more specifics on the exact location. I just know that that particular project is connecting the Eastern Shore to County Cork, Ireland.
Yeah, it's basically a fiber optic cable that's going to connect Maryland literally to Cork County, which is our sister state. And that's also where there's a statue of Frederick Douglass.
Yes.
So it's a deep water port. It's going to be the highest technology, so it'll be very efficient for the AI communications. You could have a data center here or there and still process information, even potentially, LLM, a language learning model. So it's going to allow for us to work in partnership with Ireland on a lot of these high-tech endeavors and precision pharmaceuticals, what have you. There are all sorts of benefits for the population, not just business, with these engagements.
Sure, thank you. And my last question for you, do you interface with the Chamber of Commerce so they actually know all the great things that you're doing, but just how it all connects literally, because those are some of the main things that they work on locally that we don't get to hear from them, especially as legislators, they'll come in and ask us questions, but I think oftentimes we all could be educated on a little bit more.
Yeah, well, we'd love to speak to the local chambers of commerce. I know that the state chamber of commerce is the leader is the former Secretary of State, and we're happy to meet with her and brief her about these findings. The report really was just released, so we'll circle back with them and make sure they're aware. And a lot of these developments have been happening in the last few months.
So some entities, the Tech Council of Maryland is aware because the two Irish companies that we attracted are not members of the Tech Council of Maryland. But yeah, as far as the chamber, as soon as we get up and running, we would love to meet and educate.
Cool. Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Delegate Solomon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the briefing. This is really important work, I think, now more than ever, given strained relations between our nation at the federal level and some of our allies. The work that you all are doing at the state level with our partners is just really critical. My wife, her family's from County Longford in the southern part of Ireland, so we had done the genealogy map with her family a couple of years ago. So Ireland has a very special place in our heart and our family. I wanted to ask, just digging into the precision pharmaceutical piece and the quantum computing, I know the Commerce Department's familiar, but we have a really wonderful gem in Montgomery County called the Institute for Health Computing, which is a partnership between University of Maryland Medical System, University of Maryland Baltimore, so the med school, the medical system, and the quantum and AI computing power at College Park. And they are 2 years old. They already have, I think, 10 patents, give or take, out. We're really trying to make that the center of healthcare computing globally. And we're really trying to lean into economic development opportunities there. So we'd just be curious if there's been any conversations, and we actually just had a meeting with BioHealth Innovation last week with the team at IHC, if there's been conversations between the pharmaceutical piece and the computing piece with the IHC, and if not, we'd be really happy to help facilitate some of that and make those connections.
Great. So we have a huge foreign direct investment conference coming up in June, or maybe it's May. They change it every year. But it's called Select USA. And there's going to be a rather large Irish delegation coming, to this, to Select USA. Fortunately for Maryland, it's in National Harbor. So before the event, we do all these side visits, and one of them will be showing off our quantum cluster here in Maryland. We've also invited numerous Irish companies to the Quantum World Congress that will be here. So we are pitching quantum and Maryland as the epicenter of quantum. So, but we would love the help. And
I was going to say I'd love to. So I think at Select USA maybe 2 years ago there was a delegation of pharmaceutical companies that came and visited the IHC with Dean Varshney from who's the dean of the Computer Science Program Department at College Park. So we should talk, because we'd love to set up an opportunity for them to, if there are healthcare related companies, to come and visit the IHC.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, yep. Delegate Kerr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple of points I wanted to reiterate was that in order for an American company to do business in Ireland, in the EU, you need a member host country, and Ireland is the only English-speaking country in the European Union. That's one reason why Ireland is so important to us. Another thing is if you're in Ireland, the relationship between Northern Ireland and Ireland is that there's a soft border, and the European Union, the trade relations are kind of relaxed between them. So our relationship with the Republic of Ireland also includes a relationship with Northern Ireland, which also gives us a relationship with the United Kingdom. So it's a very advantageous relationship. Another point about the Frederick Douglass is that we've been working, the sister states commission's been working with the city of Cork to establish a curriculum, an educational curriculum for the Frederick Douglass Trail in the city of Cork. And then one thing else I wanted to point out was, I don't know, do we want to say we have an Irish citizen on our, Mary Lehman? Do we want to point out we have an Irish citizen on our?
Yes. Do you want to?
We have an Irish citizen on our committee here. Mary Lehman recently received
Thank
her
you for that.
dual citizenship. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Delegate Kerr. I want to just thank you all for your presentation. It was very informative for me as well, and it's great to hear about the forthcoming report. I'm sure there'll be opportunities for us to think about how we can leverage those reports to grow the partnerships between Maryland and our amazing enterprises here, as well as with Ireland. And thank you so much for, I think, that background information on the connection with Frederick Douglass. I think we all thoroughly enjoyed that history lesson and that the significance of that relationship. And also want to thank you all, Mr. Laurie, Mr. Castleberry, and Ms. McNeely for being our first briefing, our first hearing here, and the Government,
too.
Labor, and Elections Committee. So really excited for that forthcoming report and just more ways for us to partner and to really support our businesses here in the state of Maryland and growing our revenue. So thank you so much for being here today. With that, colleagues, that concludes our first briefing. Just a reminder that we do have a bill hearing today at 1 p.m. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Thank you. Delegate Kerr, are you buying the first round at Guinness at the?
Thank you. You too. You're good too.